Salas is in his command headquarters, and suddenly he gets a call from the gate personnel at the entrance to Malmstrom.
And the guard reports that there's some sort of strange light that's flying, moving in a strange pattern over the actual base itself. This is an area that's restricted from aircraft and restricted from commercial travel. So what is this light that's flying overhead?
They don't seem to be engaged in threatening action, but it is a little disconcerting to see unexplained lights above the base. A few minutes later, Salas gets a second call.
And this time, the guard calls Salas in a cold panic.
There's a glowing orb of red light that's hovering right above the gate to Malmstrom.
Needless to say, nobody knew what this was, and Salas, who's 100 feet underground, has no idea how to make any sense of this at all.
Salas orders the gate personnel to not allow anything to pass the gate.
And then, within just a few seconds, all 10 missiles under Salas's command go dark.
These Minuteman missiles are the most sophisticated, technologically advanced nuclear weapons in the American arsenal. The idea that 10 of them could suddenly all malfunction at the same time is unthinkable to Salas.
10 missiles actually covers about 15 square miles of location, all controlled by a single launch control capsule where Salas was actually sitting.
With no explanation, the red orbiting light disappears.
The missiles reactivate, and it's almost as if nothing happened at all.
Was this a Soviet spy craft sent to disrupt America's defenses? Or some unidentified aerial phenomenon? To find out, the Air Force sends a team from an ongoing secret investigation known as Project Blue Book.
Project Blue Book was a U.S. Air Force program that started in the early 1950s and ran for about 15 years to track and classify all unidentified aerial phenomena and see if any of them were a threat to national security.
Investigators from Project Blue Book look into this incident at Malmstrom, and they don't think it's an alien spacecraft, but they also can't find any other logical explanation.
The official word is that the government doesn't know why those missiles shut down.
So Malmstrom is instantly classified like many other Project Blue Book sightings.
Salas signs a non-disclosure agreement, and he's sworn to secrecy about the events that occurred. He's convinced that if he tells anybody what he saw, he's going to face prosecution and probably be put in prison.
The Blue Book investigation ends 3 years later, and its findings are made public. The government concludes that UFOs pose no danger to America's defenses.
There's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide at all.
And no credible evidence exists for extraterrestrial technology or vehicles. Problem is, Robert Salas knows what he saw. Decades later, in 2010, he decides to tell his story to the world.
In 1967, I was a first lieutenant stationed at Malmstrom Air Force Base, Montana.
Robert Salas keeps quiet about these sightings and this incident for decades. Then one day he's browsing in a bookstore and finds a report on a UFO encounter at Malmstrom Air Force Base. He assumes that this is his incident.
It provokes him to file a Freedom of Information Act request to see what records the US government has on the events at Malmstrom. It turns out what Salas is asking about is a different incident that had happened 8 days earlier.
And to him, this now looks like a pattern of experiences at Malmstrom.
When Robert Salas came out with his story, UFO theorists and the community really seized on it and said this is pure evidence that the government is hiding something that happened out there. The UFO community starts to believe that Project Blue Book is designed to just debunk UFO conspiracies instead of actually investigating them.
I think the US government does know more about some of these UFO sightings than it lets on. But that doesn't necessarily mean that they're alien spacecraft.
The Minuteman was relatively new, and so it's possible that effectively it was a glitch. The non-disclosure agreement might have been just to warn Salas not to basically blab about the fact that our nuclear arsenal might have flaws in its design. As for the glowing orb, I doubt it was a figment of the guard's imagination, but that doesn't automatically mean that alien visitors had come to Earth. There probably are other explanations, and given the location, It's possible that it was some form of experimental aircraft. It's possible that it was some kind of a physical phenomenon.